What's up, guys? This is Bull by the Fell-Handed. What I need to tell you is I click sometimes. Today is one of those days. I am in the M41 American Tier 5 Artillery. Now, I don't click enough to be good at it. This is one of those situations where luck triumphs over skill. So, you know, I'm not really there as far as the skill goes. But, you know, for some of my viewers that like the artillery videos, this one's for you. Now, as you can tell right off the gate, I have no idea where to go. Granted, of course, you must understand, I know the typical areas the clickers like to go. And so, more often than not, I will end up going to those positions because they must be favorable, because everyone goes there. So I'm pushing up over here. I'm just going to post up, and I'm going to go ahead and scope an area that is normally an area of high contention, i.e. the front, if you will. Now, of course, you know, you always could go left or right flank, what have you. But since the left is a little slimmer, I decided to scope left right off the gate. We fire around there, and the guy just backed out just in time. We end up just barely just touching his track. Now, this tank does not have any equipment on it. I think I do put equipment on it at some point. I do remember going up the line, this was an extremely OP tank. So that's kind of what tempted me to, you know, buy it back and give it a shot. Why not? So we missed around there. We are reloading. We are going to try to put one in the side of this guy. He just took a pretty nasty hit, and we're essentially just tracking him. We actually connected, so the gods of RNG decided we should hit at that time, and we did. Now, granted, of course, you know, I'm in it already. I'm clicking. I'm no Spartan Elite, but we're gonna try to do our best. There is a TOG here, so it would be kind of difficult to miss that guy. Of course, if it's possible, I can do it. So we are scoping another guy here. He looks like he's in a good hold down position, making excellent use of cover, although not from my direction. Put a good round right in the side of him there. And so far, you know, we've had a couple of decent hits, at least halfway decent hits. So we're just going to continue to track this guy. As long as he stays lit up, there's a good possibility we can do some work. I kind of loiter in this area and then fire at last known and hit right on the money, of course. So we have a lot of tanks that are pushing up, or I should say falling back out of that position. And the funny thing is, we don't even really have a significant force on that flank. The majority of our force ran down the right, so not exactly sure what the guy fell back from, but you know what, it is what it is. Gonna put a round right here in the side of this guy. We ended up connecting and taking him off the board, so we're having a pretty decent game so far. We've got 2 kills. We have a gentleman here spawn camping. You know, it looks like his first foray out of the actual cap circle, but that's fine. Now, he is engaged with multiple tanks, and instead of turning to fight, he goes ahead and makes a wide circle. I think the right move would have been to just pivot on the spot, get your front armor toward the bad guys, and, you know, hope for the best. But you know what? I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to tank. I have excellent shots at this gentleman right here. He has pretty good cover from the guys who just annihilated his compadre, but he does not have good cover from myself, and I am going to try to put some shots on target. The gun is almost loaded up. We're going to scope a nice pretty one here, and we fire, and it goes over him just a little bit. Of course, I wasn't really aiming on point because, you know, most of the time when the rounds ride the line, it ends up kind of going in short occasionally. But you know what? I don't click that often, so I'm just going to chalk it up to lack of skill. And aside from what you've heard, clicking does in fact take some skill. Considerable skill is what I would even say. You need to be part fortune teller and part professional lotto winner. That's my take on it. moving on. We have 2 tanks over here in the pocket. We're going to try to put a round on one. She ended up running a little long on us. Now, there's 2 schools of thought if your reticle stretches out here. One is to put the dead center of the reticle on the enemy tank, and the other is to situate the tank in the middle of wherever the circle is. So in other words, if your circle is oblong and your reticle is at the top of it, you still need to aim for the middle of the circle. I've seen things happen both ways. You know, with people putting the crosshairs on the enemy and with them putting them in the middle of the circle. So, I don't know, guys. Whatever works for you. Going to try to put a round here on the side of this gentleman, and we just barely tapped him. Not really having a whole lot of splash damage. All we did was just knock some paint off. But you know what? That's fine. We've got a pretty decent high DPM artillery right here, and the Reds are just letting me shoot at him. I should have known better than to pull the trigger on that one, because I should have known he was a little bit further than 2.2 second spread on that one. But you know what? Like I said, I click sometimes, not very often. Once about every 5 months, I'll have a good clicker game. Or if I get completely wasted and decide to play a tier 10 arty with my friends. Aside from that, most of the time I'll end up running a medium tank. Occasionally you can check me out in a heavy, and never in a TD. I'm just not that patient. So we put a round in the side of that guy, removing him off the board. It is 2-1. There is one other tank with me, and I am hoping he will spot this red so I may send him back to the garage post haste. So right now we are scanning the area in the last known. I wanted to see the position of the green on my team. It looks like he's in an excellent spot here with some cover. However, I am unwilling to put the success of this game into the green's hands, and I decide to make a more direct approach to this situation. My plan is I was going to go up, much like every other plan in my game, and use this gentleman for bait, and as soon as he gets lit up, and as soon as he and the red start exchanging fire, I would kill the red. Which is still the plan. We fire off a good round there, and it just, he just stopped right before I was going to launch there. So, you know, a timing issue. And you know what? You can't always predict what someone is going to do. But that's fine. We've got a decently high DPM tank here. And we finish him off, pulling down 5 kills and an artillery. Which isn't bad for someone who doesn't click a lot. We did 1,999 damage, ended up getting an Ace Tanker badge in our tiny Tier 5 arty. Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to subscribe.